up, Know It All podcasters? It's your boy Big G, kicking it live with the Know It All crew this week. I'm gonna say a holler to my boy Tate. What's happening, Tate?
Big G, what's happening, homie? Not too much, man. You know, just another weekend of football. I'm sure we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, a shout out to my boy Mod, man, who's down for one more time. But we ready for this. But before we get into what's going on with the Know It Alls, let's get into this. Say welcome again to the Know It All podcast. We're coming to you live, trying to give you some information, some knowledge, and more than anything, our opinion about what's going on in the sports world for the last week. Tate, man, we had a big weekend, man, with a lot of different sports things going on across the board. Everything from some hits in college football, and man, did we have a great NFL Sunday, man. But before we get started with our conversation about all the other things, let's just jump directly into the college football weekend. Give me your take on what you saw, what you think was popping, who you think is the team, who's for real and who's not.
Man, I was excuse me. It's a lot went on, man. I was surprised that quite a few teams, you know, we got that text thread going. We just talking about all sports all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just commenting. I told you I was surprised a few teams got popped, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Man, UCLA got popped.
Yeah.
They lost to Fresno State.
Fresno State a good team, though. They're a good team, but go ahead, yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, Ohio State, you know, our team, they didn't look good, man. They did not. They won, but they only won because they was playing Tulsa.
Yeah.
But
0-3 Tulsa. 0-3 Tulsa.
They did not look good. You know, I think Penn State looked good. They moved up. Iowa moved up.
Yeah.
I mean, Alabama was pushed by Florida. I think when it lost, Florida should move up.
Yeah, if the other quarterback for Florida would have played, I think that would have been a different outcome of that game for sure. You know, ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. But I will say this, you know, because, you know, I'm known for making Big G burners and all whatever else. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an Ohio State Buckeye fan, and I'm telling you right now, Ohio State, if they play the way they're playing right now, will not make the college football playoff. Matter of fact, Ohio State will not win the Big Ten if they're playing the way they're playing now.
Man, if they play the way they playing now, they're gonna have 3 or 4 losses on their record, man.
Could be. Right. And this the craziest thing, Tate. They might have the best running back in the country and Travion Henderson. They might have the best wide receiver crew in the country, but the issue still is the defense. But you know, I ain't gonna get long-winded about the Buckeyes because we know what it is. And I will say this right now. So let me say this, Tate. Top 4. If you had to call a playoff right now, who's rolling in? Top 4.
Oh, I mean, Georgia, of course. Alabama, of course. 2 SEC teams.
Yeah.
I'll say Oregon. Oregon looked kind of sketchy early against Stony Brook yesterday.
Yeah.
And then they beat Ohio State, but Ohio State don't look good. And the week before they played Ohio State, they narrowly beat Fresno State. And maybe Fresno State is better than we thought because Fresno State beat UCLA. Yeah. But so Alabama, Georgia, I'm gonna skate Oregon in there. I'm not gonna put Oklahoma in there. I'm gonna jump them. I'm gonna put Penn State. I know Iowa's ranked 1 spot higher than Penn State. But Penn State like the stronger team than me, and they'll settle that because they play each other, I think, in 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, 2 weeks for sure. I agree with your Todd, but I would say I'm still gonna roll with Iowa. I'm gonna say Iowa. I am gonna say Penn State. I would say Oregon, and then I would say Alabama. I don't think Georgia gets in as of yet. Now, I'm not saying Georgia's not a dominant team. I just know.
But you said, I mean, I took it as of right now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I like Iowa better than I like Georgia. I like Iowa better than I like Iowa better than I like Georgia. I really do.
Okay.
So
I'm not disputing that. I mean, I'm all Big Ten all the time.
Yeah. Ma said Alabama, Georgia, Iowa, Oklahoma. Nah, no Oklahoma. No.
The only problem with that, Mod, is only 4 teams in the college football playoffs. You listed 5. But we know you didn't mean Oklahoma. You just tried to slide them in there because you in Big 12 country, and you know Texas can't carry the water.
Yeah, Oklahoma, really, to be honest, was on the ropes against Nebraska. For all of y'all that didn't watch the game was a lot closer. The score was close, but the game was a lot closer. That blocked extra point for 2. Yeah.
I thought Nebraska's loss showed well for the Big Ten also yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what? And I can't leave Cincinnati out.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, it's just a long way to play out. But you know, so what you know any big matchups next week before we move on?
There's 2 or 3 nice ones, man, but really it's going to be more about week 5 and week 6, man, for college football. I mean, there's some decent games. Texas A&M and Arkansas next week is going to be a good game. A couple other 2-3 ones, but week 5 and week 6 of college football is really going to call it. And I will say this: the sleeper team is Ole Miss. Watch out for Ole Miss. You don't want to play them. I'm telling you, you don't want to get in. You don't want to get in a run with them, because them boys can score a whole lot of points real fast. And they're SEC team, so I wouldn't be shocked. Anything's possible.
Is Lane Kiffin still the coach of Ole Miss?
Yes, he is.
And that's the thing about college football this year, man. It's wide open. It's wide open. It's wide open.
I think it's the most intriguing college football season since 2007. I mean, of course, you still got Alabama at the top, but man, there's a lot of teams, man. Anybody can win it at this point. But I think week 6 is going to show us the truth.
Our graphics say NFL recap, so we probably need to move on and get to talking about what went down today, man.
Yeah. I mean, so you tell me what went down, what you think. I mean, I saw some good, some bad, some ugly, and some other things. So, you know, I'll let you talk first about what you saw.
It was some good games today, man. I know Ma happy like a fat kid in the candy store right now.
Yeah.
Because the Dallas Cowboys pulled it out, you know, and they played a strong game. They played a strong defensive game. I'd have to say that your fantasy QB Justin Herbert gave it away though a couple times.
Yes, he did. Yeah. You can't throw a pick on the goal line. You're first and goal at the 6 or whatever and throw a pick, you're gonna lose. But go ahead, man. Look at him. He talking about how about them Cowboys. Come on, man. Hey, but I will say this. I told Mott off camera, the Cowboys' defensive backs are improved. I will say that. Their defense just in general is improved.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know. Tennessee and Seattle's in overtime right now, ain't they?
Yeah, that's what I was just over here flipping and looking at the score to see if I could catch an update. I think they're on a timeout right now, but it's still 30 up.
I think it's probably they got away with a narrow win against Cincinnati, but I think it's probably Justin Fields' time in Chicago.
Yeah,
dog got hurt. I mean, I think that might be just the reason they needed to go ahead and put this kid in.
Yeah.
Cleveland got away with a win against the Texans, Houston Texans, but I know they had some people hurt. A lot of injuries around the league, but
yeah, it's
I was surprised Cleveland's defense let Houston do. They didn't do a whole bunch, but do what they was doing before Tyrod Taylor got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, across the board in the league, you can already tell. I mean, we're in week 2, and you can already tell that it's going to be a war of attrition. You know, like teams that are able to survive and duck injuries at major positions. That's what it's going to be about. Mod said he liked Derrick Henry, Rondale Moore, Kyler Murray, and Dalvin Cook. Of course, the Arizona the Arizona Minnesota game, as far as scoring, was the best game of the day. I mean, they went at it, you know.
Yeah.
And I will say this, as we talked about it, Rondell Moore is woo-wee.
Yeah,
That youngster is rough.
He ain't number 3 or 4 receiver.
Oh, he number 2. He number 2.
Man, you got D-Hop, you got Christian Kirk, you got AJ Green. You throw Rondell Moore somewhere in C or D. If you got A, B, C, and D, he's somewhere he's C or D.
I don't know. I think Rondell Moore is when I watched the start of the game and they ran that 11 personnel out on the field, I saw D-Hop to the right and I saw Rondell Moore to the left. So I don't know.
He definitely gets some reps in the slot, a lot of reps. But I think that Rams Colts game was a good game, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about what a letdown my Pittsburgh Steelers was today, man. I mean, maybe he deserved more credit than I give him Derek Carr, man. They made Derek Carr look like what Aaron Rodgers looked like last year.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's got issues, man. I mean, but as time goes on, the tape's shown, their issues is clearly the offensive line. They can't when the whole game of football, for those that are just casual watchers and all whatever else, you can have all these spectacular athletes all on the outside, beast mode quarterback, dog running back, but you have to be able to block so you can run, and you have to be able to stop the run. If you can do those two things, you can remain competitive in football. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a problem with blocking for the run and stopping the run. That's their issue. So
I don't think they so much had a problem with stopping the run. I mean, they played decent till I think fatigue just set in, just because they was on the field so long, because the offense couldn't sustain anything.
Correct.
I mean, and not Najee Harris, the first round pick, he get the ball, but if you got jokers in there on him like a half a second after he gets the ball, he ain't gonna be able to do nothing.
Right. That's what I mean by you got to run the ball. When you time of possession, time off the clock, run the ball. Hey, hey, you don't be a hater, man. He said it's time for Ben to go, man.
I think Ben had a better game than Dak today. I mean, I can't blame it all on Ben. Ben hit a 52-yarder to Chase Claypool, a 41-yarder to Deontay Johnson. He threw the ball down the field. He got rid of it. I mean, that interception was just being. He just threw it up as opposed to just throwing it away or taking a sack. He was just taking a gamble on something. I mean, so I can't blame the game on Ben until he get a little bit of time to be in the pocket and throw and actually work the offense. I can't blame it on him yet. I mean, it would be worse if Mason Rudolph came in. Trust me.
Oh my God! I mean, listen. It is definitely time for the Steelers to draft the next quarterback to go in that spot. But I will say this about Ben. We cannot go back to what we was last year, where Ben was throwing the ball 50 times. We just can't. And that was the whole reason why we brought in this new offensive line. But this new offensive line, even though they're young, they haven't showed that you can control the line of scrimmage. Because in my position, and what I feel, we have a top 5 running back standing in the backfield. I mean, but he's got to be able to have people that's in front of him that are old school slobber knockers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you start talking about Al Fenneca, slobber knockers.
Didn't we get in trouble today for spitting on somebody, one of the linemen?
slobber knockers, man. That's what it was about. You came through, cracked somebody, tried to break their helmet in half. That's those Alan Fennecas, Dave DeCastro, those type of players, man, that'll just run up in the hole and literally try to peel you back. So we don't have those type of guys, and until we get those guys,
I think we do have those type of guys now. I think they're those type of guys. I just think that they haven't had time to build a rapport. They're all young and inexperienced. They all have fire and desire now, and they got athleticism, and they're young and they strong. They just don't know what they're doing yet, so they just schemes and stunts and stuff. Just get them all out of pocket quick.
Ma says, stop making excuses for your statue quarterback. Hey, I'm going to say this, though, too, and just a comparison. I watched the Cleveland Browns game today, and I watched the Dallas Cowboys game today. Two things that the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys have are slobber knockers at that offensive line. Cleveland's Browns offensive line is
again, Big G. You going against what I said. What Dallas and Cleveland have is some cohesion and some experience together offensive line. Cleveland line been good for this the second year now. They got a top 5 offensive line. Dallas done had a nice line for the past 5 or 6, 7 years.
Right.
And all these guys have played together. And Pittsburgh had that before the last couple years, but these guys, Pouncey and DeCastro got hurt, and Villanueva, they got old. But that collective togetherness and time together means something. That's what Pittsburgh don't have that Cleveland and Dallas have. Like I said, they got the guys, man, as far as strong and powerful and you call them slobber knockers. I call them road raiders. But
and you gotta get up in the hole and hit somebody, man. You got I'm just a firm believer in offensive linemen got to be nasty. If you don't have 2-3 offensive linemen that will hurt you, do something strange to you, try to knock you out for the season in your career, then you don't really have an offensive line. So I don't know if Pittsburgh has that yet. Time will tell for sure. I don't know if they got it.
I wanna call you on something real quick that you said last week, man, and just ask you about it. You remember last week you said you was gonna beat me in fantasy football?
Oh yeah.
What happened, Big G? What happened, Big G?
The truth of it, or what happened,
Big G? What happened, Big G?
The truth of it, or what happened? The truth of it is that the Baltimore Ravens kicker went bananas and had 17 points Monday night and gave you a victory by like 2 or 3 points.
That's
but
crazy,
I
man.
will say this, that we both scored over 150 in fantasy football.
That's crazy, man. I didn't even have the Baltimore Ravens kicker though.
Well, the Las Vegas Raiders, whoever the kicker you had,
I had the Raiders kicker.
That joker went ballistic.
I just wanted the people to know that you did all that talking last week and you didn't win. That's all I wanted to say. But let's talk about Tom Brady's 5 touchdowns. It's crazy. Speaking of fantasy, I had Gronk on my fantasy team. He scored two TDs last week and 2 TDs this week, and I didn't even play him. But Tampa looked good. Brady looked good, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
the formula for Tampa, and it's going to be in which nobody's been able to do it. Look at Emmett said. Somebody, Emmett for sure. Yeah,
he got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry scored about 50. He's 2-0. He ain't never been 2-0.
Yeah, I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy for him.
That damn M usually be like 2-12 by the end of the season. He got 2 wins already.
Team Stomp and fantasy football take straight L's. But this year he's getting victories. He's getting victories for sure. So I'm proud of E, man. Hey, but yeah, Tom Brady, man, like Ma pointed out, man. I mean, there's a lot of guys, but let's focus on Tampa, right? Tom, they are realistically the team to beat. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. However, the one thing about the issue with Brady is all of us, I think, hold our breath collectively, and it's like, when is Father Time going to catch up? When is something going to happen where we see Brady really be what he is? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But until then, they're the team to beat. They're the team. They're without a shadow of a doubt. They're the team to beat. If they had to line up and play right now for the trophy, they would get the trophy.
I don't disagree. We got to see more football. I mean, Atlanta was making a comeback, today before Matt Ryan threw 2 pick sixes and kind of make that score look a little worse than it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Brady. Brady
the
man.
Ma, you right. When you say Brady gets rid of the ball, I saw a clock on him. Rookie year, he averaged 2.7 seconds to get rid of the ball. And all these years later, he's still 2.7 seconds or under to get rid of the ball. He gets rid of the ball. That's how he keeps from getting injured or hurt.
I mean,
But go ahead, Tate. That's what I said for sure.
He better. That Tawana said the Bucks looked amazing. Man,
Yeah.
amazing is kind of strong for my blood.
Oh, I'm agreeing with it.
Man, I mean, hey, I'm a Brady fan. Everybody all on Brady little tipsy tip.
Hey, Tom Brady. Yeah, he said Brady is like Mayweather. He takes as little punishment as possible. That's why he's got longevity. There ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. He 2.7 seconds. He get rid of that ball.
That's a good analogy.
But also, too, it's because of the playmakers that he has around him. I mean, when you start talking about Mike Evans, O.J. Howard, Gronk, Godwin.
Look, man.
It's unbelievable.
Look, man, and with that, I'm back on the other old quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. He has equally as good weapons as Brady has. But the only difference is the line. I mean, Ben get rid of the ball quick. They talking about, but he got to get rid of the ball quick because he don't got a line. Brady get rid of the ball quick because he making decisive decisions and picking you apart.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Ben is doing it, just to stay alive, basically. You know what I mean? Every play.
Yeah. But injuries aside, Brady and them, there ain't nobody gonna pop them boys, man. Ain't nobody gonna pop them.
The offensive line is good. They can lose, Big G. I mean, they can. I mean, this.
I ain't saying they can't lose, but I'm saying like when the chips is on the line for the bowl, I don't. Early on, we're still in week 2. I think Rusty and them might give them a little run.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say, and if the Rams is playing well, I think the Rams can maybe make a little noise.
Yeah,
But
I'm trying to check that score, man. So keep going. I'm just looking to see what happened, man. Because I think we got a final, but I'm just checking the score.
Your boy Zach Wilson up in New York, he was a pick machine.
Yeah. Oh no, he ain't none of my boy. He ain't I've drafted Trevor Lawrence. He's on both of my fantasy football teams, and he was a pick machine. He had four dunks. So you play like trash.
I just dropped Trevor Lawrence this week. Trevor Lawrence, a free agent in our league, and I don't know about we in 2 leagues together, and I'm 2-0 in both leagues essentially.
Yeah, but I got Trevor in both. I got Trevor Lawrence in both.
You don't have them in our league, the blood in, blood out league. You don't have them.
I think I did drop him, and I picked up Matt Ryan. Yeah, you're right. You're correct. I got Matt Ryan. Yeah.
No, you didn't have him. But I was going to say, the Buffalo defense, man. What do you think about them today?
They drafted what they needed. They drafted defensive ends that could put pressure on mobile quarterbacks, i.e., Tua might be out for a few weeks because his ribs got cracked. And I watched the play and rewound it like 3 times, and I was like, man, he got blown up, man. He might have a couple busted ribs.
So wrapping up the NFL real quick, we kind of just glossed over everything.
Mm-hmm.
But so coming out of week 2, right now, as of right now, who's your top 3 teams? Just top 3. Then we move on.
Tampa Bay, Kansas City, the Rams. 1, 2, 3. Tampa Bay 1, Kansas City 2, the Rams 3. Yeah, Tawana, you right, man. Yeah, the Bucks got playmakers, but yeah, who you got, Tate, for your top 3?
Man, I gotta say Tampa Bay, the Rams, and probably Kansas City. Maybe not in the same order as you, but some combination of those 3.
Yeah. And I like Denver. I like Denver too, but that's another conversation. I like Denver.
Yeah, Denver. I think Denver's a top 10 team, but I just wanted to narrow the top 3. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll see what happens next week with with a lot of these teams and stuff. We'll know a little more after week 3, more than we know after week 2.
Yeah.
But now the next thing we're gonna transition to and talk about, we had a post in our Facebook group earlier this week about who's the greatest athlete of all time.
Yeah.
So take off with it, G. Who do you think who makes the list and who's the guy? Or the girl?
I saw your list and I agreed wholeheartedly what was up there on your list. Mod had a list too, and I think you guys' list was very similar.
That
Bo
was
Jackson.
No, that was Mod's list. I didn't have no list.
Oh, so that was Mod's list.
Oh, Mod's list.
Mod saying Bo, and listen. I had this conversation because it stirred up with a whole bunch of people. I was at a statewide conference all week, so I was talking with different people about information just to get their take about who they think is the greatest. My personal opinion of the greatest athlete is not going to be popular with everybody, but man, Allen Iverson, man, was something special, man. You know, even though Allen Iverson did not play 2 professional sports, there is no doubt in my mind that Allen Iverson could have played 2 professional sports. There's no doubt in my mind. Bo Jackson played 2 sports, hurt, hip got busted up, never really excelled in the NFL. Everybody knows what primetime Deion Sanders did. You know, you could talk about Charlie Ward being, you know, a Heisman Trophy quarterback and, you know, not all world, but a decent NBA basketball player that had a long career. You know, so that's when you start talking about cream to the crop. But Allen Iverson, man, was Mr. Football and Mr. Basketball in the state of Virginia out of high school. Matter of fact, Allen Iverson was the Gatorade High School Football Player of the Year and the Gatorade High School Basketball Player of the Year out of high school. He could have won in any sport. He was Mike Vick before Mike Vick. And if you go back and watch the highlight tapes of this kid, and it wasn't like he played on a suspect team in high school. I mean, he's from Newport News, Virginia, and Tate, you live over in that region. You know what the Newport News boys get on with doing. They play serious football over there. So, you know, my deal is AI, 6'1", 178 pounds, might be toe for toe the greatest athlete that ever played. That's just me.
I can go now?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you know, yeah, Emmett is right. There's so many factors that go into it. I mean, because if you just, I think the criteria that we're using right now is all around athletes that's played in more than one sport and done different things like that. So with that being what it is, I have to go Bo Jackson, man. I mean, you got, you know, I mean, I have to agree. That was Ma's list. I agree with him on that one. I mean, Bo Jackson, what he did in football, he won the Heisman Trophy. He would, if he didn't get injured within his second or third year, he'd be a professional football Hall of Famer. I mean, Bo was that dude, man. Heisman Trophy, went to baseball. Was a several-time All-Star for the Kansas City Royals, then went to Chicago White Sox. You know, and then just what he did in marketing and advertising. You know, Bo knows and all the, you know, like in the late 80s, Bo Jackson was that guy, man.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
But then even after Bo, I put Deion second, because I take that. Don't put Deion second. I put Dave Winfield second. And for people that aren't old enough to know Dave Winfield, Dave Winfield is probably the only athlete that's been drafted in all 3 professional sports.
Correct.
Baseball, basketball, and NFL football.
Yeah.
You know, he had a Hall of Fame baseball career. He chose baseball. Drafted by the Padres, played a lot of years for the Yankees, the Blue Jays, got a World Series, 12-time All-Star. You know, then I would put Deion Sanders, because what Deion is great in football, but he was average in baseball. You know what I mean? But
might have played for the greatest team. Might have played for the greatest team ever assembled. But yeah, average baseball player.
And then my last 2 to round the list, I will put Allen Iverson on there. I agree with you. He makes the list. And then my last one, we'll forget about our boy, man. LBJ, man. This dude right here. Where he at?
Yeah.
He over here. Yeah, right there.
See, I didn't want to be a homer, man, with LBJ, man, but he's up there because LBJ stuff is like AI, but AI is just a little bit better, man.
Yeah, he made All-American football, not more than All-State.
Yeah,
But LeBron was a greater basketball player, and AI was a great basketball player.
Man,
So,
could you imagine LeBron James playing tight end in the NFL, man? Could you imagine it?
that's what I'm saying. And mine talking about no way he makes it over Charlie Ward. I mean, look at some of the, and not taking nothing away from Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward was great. I mean, but look at some of the dudes that's gotten the Heisman in college football at the quarterback position. You know what I mean? They don't necessarily do anything.
But in today's NFL, Charlie Ward is perfect. In today's NFL, Charlie Ward would cause problems. You think Kyler Murray causing problems? Charlie Ward would have caused a lot of problems in today's NFL. But back then, guys like him, Tommy Frazier, Jamil Holloway, they wasn't gonna get shots, to play make it to the league. They were super athletes playing quarterback.
Darian Hagan, remember him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that whole Big 8, Big 12, however they just kept maturing or maturating as far as a conference, they had dogs.
Tony Rice, Major Harris. Let's just say what it is factually, man. Like back 25, 40 years ago, they didn't want to give black quarterbacks a chance.
Black quarterbacks was not getting no shot to the league. I mean, I looked up a stat the other day, and I looked up how many black quarterbacks played in the NFL prior to like 1993. It was under 10. In the totality of the league, from like 1992, 1993 and back, there was like a totality of maybe 10 quarterbacks that played in the NFL that was African American. So they wasn't giving black shots.
I remember Joe Gilliam played for the Steelers in the 70s.
Yeah. You see what Emmett say?
If he's still talking about all-time athlete, Chris Carter was a great athlete. He don't compare with the guys we named. Chris Carter was a great athlete regionally. He was great. He's from Ohio. He was all-state basketball. He was a beast in basketball and football. We know what he went to Ohio State and did. I give it all that, but he don't rival with Allen Iverson, LeBron, and Bo Jackson and all that. Chris Carter get his props. But going back to the quarterback real quick before we get out of here, I remember when Joe Gilliam played for the Steelers, I think in the 70s.
Yeah.
These just the ones I remember.
Yeah.
Doug Williams was drafted by Tampa Bay out of Grambling.
Yeah.
When they were a new franchise.
Yeah.
Then we had Vince Evans in Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago Bears. Vince Evans.
Warren Moon, University of Washington, went to Canada.
Warren Moon had to go to Canada and prove himself for a lot of years. And Warren Moon, the top 3 all-time pure passer in the NFL.
Oh, I agree.
Pure passer.
I agree. I had this conversation the other day with a pack of people, talking about football. And I was like, y'all don't realize, go back and look at the numbers that he put up at Houston. Look at with them wide receivers, and they was running that run and shoot or whatever you call. Warren Moon sitting in the pocket would eat you.
So we had Warren Moon, we had Rodney Peete for a little while in Detroit, Randall Cunningham in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Doug Williams kind of breaks the glass ceiling and wins the Super Bowl, I think in '87 with the team now known as the Washington football team.
And never would have got in the game without an injury. Never would have got in the game, man. What's his name? Not Mark Rippon, but what's the guy's name? Jay Schroeder, was that his name? Yeah, Jay Schroeder.
Yeah. And Doug Williams was clearly better.
Yeah.
So that's how it always has been. It's the game and society has changed now. You don't have to have that. You don't have to have that. Pure big guy just standing in the pocket. How the game is played now, you gotta have a quarterback that's able to make plays, off schedule and off platform, make throws, off platform and everything like that. So it's a different game now. That's why you got Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, all these guys. So it's a different game now.
Football is 11-on-11. So when your quarterback is an athlete Anytime you run an RPO pass play or whatnot, or you run where the quarterback can tuck it and you think he's going to run and he pulls back and drops it, now it becomes 11 on 11 football. So when you start talking box scheme, 7 inside the box is always +1. You got to account for the quarterback. So, hey, Emmett, I couldn't stand him either because he was busting Pittsburgh's grill on a regular basis. Warren Moon was getting in Pittsburgh like they stole something. You hear me? They had a squad, man. Ma said Bo Jackson, Dave Winfield, Deion Sanders, Allen Iverson, Charlie Moore. Yeah? Hey, so let me ask you a question. Who's the greatest female athlete? Who's the greatest female athlete?
Serena
Greatest
Williams.
female. You think so?
Serena?
Okay.
Williams.
I mean, I feel you. I like FloJo. You know, that's just me. I like FloJo.
She. I mean, and I understand that, but it just was that. It was just that small window of time. What, like the '88 Olympics, and that was it. I mean,
I also like Cheryl
Serena been doing this thing for 20 years, bro.
Yeah, I ain't dogging her Tate, but I also like Cheryl Swoops as well. Cheryl Swoops, heck of an athlete, man. And Cheryl Miller that played basketball at USC and was way before her time. You know, Emma said Jackie Joyner. Okay, I feel you. But female athletes, there's some killers ones out there, man.
They some of the greatest track and field athletes ever. But you talking about? I like Cheryl Miller too. I mean, I remember Cheryl Miller, USC in the mid '80s and stuff like that. Reggie Miller, her brother, tell you, Cheryl used to bust his head.
Get him buckets. They be outside in the backyard. She be giving him straight buckets, like he couldn't even deal with her. You know, so you know. But I'm the thing I want to say about the whole platform of athletes being, you know, the greatest athletes, and now especially with getting black quarterbacks an opportunity to play in the NFL. I mean, I think still we got a lot of Marion Jones. I feel you, Ma, great athlete. You know, played basketball and ran track, very good. But I think we still got a lot of work to do as far as having more and more. Well, let's just say this. There's the browning of America that's happening, and we all know that, right? But I just want to make sure that from an equality standpoint, these young men that are getting an opportunity to play at that pivotal position in the NFL, they use their platform to make a way for the ones that's coming behind them. Because if you start looking at high school football now, the best athlete is playing quarterback, regardless of color, creed, and all whatever else. And that's given a lot of young men who are black athletes an opportunity to really move up and go to that next level and shine. So I really want to just, you know, emphasize that I feel that the young people who are in the NFL playing quarterback now, like the Justin Fields and stuff like that, really set the stage for the ones that's to come. What you think about that, Tay?
Well, I think it's just a different game now. I think that they are accepted in the game now. That's why you have Trey Lance getting drafted 3rd overall. Kyler Murray 2 years ago got drafted number 1 overall. Yeah, I mean, so you know, I don't think it's a thing anymore. You know what I mean? They tried to pull it with Lamar Jackson when he came out. Should he move to receiver and all this, that, other? You know what I mean? And he does. He's not as pure a passer and as good a thrower as a lot of these guys right now. But he's a playmaker. He's a playmaker. And when you have to account for that guy, like you said, he opens up things for everybody else on his team. Yeah. So, you know, speaking of which, we about to get ready to get out of here because I got to go check out that Kansas City Baltimore game. Man, who you like in that game? Who you got? You obviously got Kansas City. You put them in the top 3. They ain't even played yet.
Man, it's gonna be a fight. But Lamar Jackson has yet to beat the Chiefs. So until he do it, you know, now if he knock them off, then I can say, hey, but I think he's like 0-5 against Kansas City or something like that. He ain't beat them yet. So will it be a shootout?
He's 0-3. He's 0-3.
Yeah. He ain't cracked them yet.
You know, I agree with Emmy. Sure. I think KC gonna win too. Just because I think they're gonna outscore him. But we got a new closing segment that we're gonna do at the end of the show now. It's called What You Know. So before we get out of here, Big G, just tell the folks what you know or what you want them to know going into this week until we get back at them next week.
Well, what I do know is that there's a lot of games to be played, and I do know that because there's a lot of games to be played and there's a lot of adjustments to be made, that we should not just jump to ends with what we see so far by certain teams, right? And college, I'm talking specifically about football. With college football, there's a lot of stuff to be played. Week 4, week 5, no, by week 6, we're going to know the truth before we get to halfway. In the NFL, it's a lot to be played. So what I do know is that you can't make quick judgments now. So this ain't the time to push all your chips to the middle of the table and be like, oh, these is the one and they's the one. Because most teams, just like anything else, is one injury away from everything changing. Right. Ma's right. He said, what I do know is COVID protocol injuries will decide it. Hey, that's what I'm saying. I'm riding with that, Ma. What you got, Tate? What you know?
I'm gonna tell you what I know, man. I'm gonna go to my, something we hardly talk about on here. I had a Take Tuesday. I talked about it one time, man. That's baseball.
Yeah.
I know we coming down to the end of September, baseball playoffs time. And what I do know, regretfully, is my Cincinnati Reds are trash.
What are they, 70, 77, and 71 or something like that?
Like 77 and 70. They're like 4 or 5 games over 500. They were 12 games over 500 3 weeks ago. But they done lost 8 out of 9, the most crucial time of the season. They're like 3 games back in the last wild card spot with like 12 or 13 to play. So they need to go on a winning streak and win like at least 10 out the last 13. I don't see it happening. They bullpen being weak all year. I mean, they played the Dodgers the other night and Scherzer just shut them out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they always find ways to lose. I mean, I literally I had time investing in Cincinnati Reds, man. I watch these guys, man. And for them to watch them climb up, because at one time, maybe back in June, they was like 10 games under 500, then to rise up to 12 over 500.
Yeah.
And then this last 2-3 weeks, they just been straight just trash.
Yeah. That's disheartening than anything. You would just want them to just go on and lose out and get us some high draft picks versus getting close and trying to make it, because that rips your heart out, man, for sure.
Yeah, man. You don't nobody talking about them back at the crib. You don't hear no talk about them.
Yeah. So as we finish up, we just want to say thank the audience for coming out and watching us for another edition of the Know-It-Alls. If you like the content that you're hearing, please like and subscribe to all our social medias. You tell them about a new Twitter handle we got, man, real quick.
The Know-It-Alls on Twitter. Check out and follow us. We're gonna get real active on Twitter coming up here in the near future. So the Know-It-Alls on Twitter. Thanks, Em, for your participation and engagement. Tawana, thank y'all. Ahmad, you always got something to say. We'd be glad to get you back next week, man. We've been saying that for a couple weeks now, but we need you back in here, so we have somebody on the show that don't know nothing. So we're looking forward to having you back.
Yeah. Hey, so for Big G, for my boy Tate and my boy Ma that's not here, we thank y'all for listening. We'll check y'all next week. Peace.